We know that internet platforms like Google and Facebook have vast quantities of data about each user. What can these companies predict about users based on that data?
You know, with Cambridge Analytica, that was an event in which, based on your Facebook likes, based on 150 of your Facebook likes, I could predict your political personality, and then I could do things with that. The reason I described in my opening statement that this is about an increasing asymmetry of power is that without any of your data, I can predict increasing features about you using AI. There's a paper recently that with 80% accuracy, I can predict your same big 5 personality traits that Cambridge Analytica got from you without any of your data. All I have to do is look at your mouse movements and click patterns. Based on tweet text alone, we can actually know your political affiliation with about 80% accuracy. Computers can calculate probably that you're homosexual before you might know that you're homosexual. They can predict with 95% accuracy that you're going to quit your job according to an IBM study. They can predict that you're pregnant. They can predict your microexpressions on your face better than a human being can. The reason why I opened the statement by saying we have to recognize that what this is all about is a growing asymmetry of power between technology and the limits of the human mind. My favorite sociobiologist, E.O. Wilson, said the fundamental problem of humanity is that we have Paleolithic ancient emotions, we have medieval institutions, and we have godlike technology. So we're chimpanzees with nukes, and our Paleolithic brains are limited against the increasing exponential power of technology at predicting things about us. The reason why it's so important to migrate this relationship from being extractive to get things out of you to being a fiduciary is you can't have asymmetric power that is specifically designed to extract things from you. Just like you can't have, again, lawyers or doctors whose entire business model is to take everything they learned and sell it to someone else. Except in this case, the level of things that we can predict about you is far greater than actually each of those fields combined when you actually add up all the data that assembles a more and more accurate voodoo doll of each of us. And there's 2 billion voodoo dolls, by the way. There's one for 1 out of every 4 people on Earth with YouTube's and Facebook are more than 2 billion people.
I'd like to address an issue that I think is of profound importance to our democratic republic. And that's the fact that in order to have a vibrant democracy, you need to have an exchange of ideas and an open platform. And certainly part of the promise of the internet as it was first conceived was that we'd have this incredible universal commons where a wide range of ideas would be discussed and debated. It would be robust. And yet it seems as if we're not getting that. We're actually getting more and more siloed. That's what we're seeing throughout our society as polarization increases. More and more folks are reverting to tribal-type behavior. Mr. Harris, you talked about our medieval institutions and Stone Age minds. Tribalism was alive and well in the past, and we're seeing advances in technology in a lot of ways bring us back into that kind of tribal behavior. So my question is, to what extent is this technology actually accelerating that, and is there a way out? Yes, Mr. Harris.
There's a tendency to think here that this is just human nature. Now, that's just people are polarized, and this is just playing out. It's a mirror. It's holding up a mirror to society. But what it's really doing is it's an amplifier for the worst parts of us. So in the race to the bottom of the brainstem to get attention, let's take an example like Twitter. It's calculating what is the thing that I can show you that gets the most engagement. And it turns out that outrage, moral outrage, gets the most engagement. So it was found in a study that for every word of moral outrage that you add to a tweet, it increases your retweet rate by 17%. So in other words, the polarization of our society is actually part of the business model. Another example of this is that shorter, briefer things work better in an attention economy than long, complex, nuanced ideas that take a long time to talk about. And so that's why you get 140 characters dominating our social discourse. But reality and the most important topics to us are increasingly complex, while we can say increasingly simple things about them. That automatically creates polarization because you can't say something simple about something complicated and have everybody agree with you. People will, by definition, misinterpret and hate you for it. And then it's never been easier to retweet that and generate a mob that will come after you. And this has created a call-out culture and chilling effects and a whole bunch of other subsequent effects in polarization that are amplified by the fact that these platforms are rewarded to give you the most sensational stuff. Thank you, Senator. Yes, this is one of the issues that most concerns me. As I think Senator Schatz mentioned at the beginning, there's evidence that there was a pattern identified by YouTube that young girls who had taken videos of themselves dancing in front of cameras were linked in usage patterns to other videos like that that went further and further into that realm. And that was just identified by YouTube, as a supercomputer as a pattern. It's a pattern of this is a kind of pathway that tends to be highly engaging. The way that we tend to describe this, if you imagine a spectrum on YouTube, on my left side there's the calm Walter Cronkite section of YouTube. On the right-hand side there's Crazy Town. UFOs, conspiracy theories, Bigfoot, whatever. And if you take a human being and you could drop them anywhere. You could drop them in the calm section or you could drop them in Crazy Town. But if I'm YouTube and I want you to watch more, which direction from there am I going to send you? I'm never going to send you to the calm section. I'm always going to send you towards Crazy Town. So now you imagine 2 billion people, like an ant colony of humanity, and it's tilting the playing field towards the crazy stuff. If you looked at a NASA moon landing, it would show flat Earth conspiracy theories, which it recommended hundreds of millions of times before being taken down recently. I wrote down another example. 50% of white nationalists in a Bellingcat study had said that it was YouTube that had red-pilled them. Red-pilling is the term for the opening of the mind. The best predictor of whether you'll believe in a conspiracy theory is whether I can get you to believe in one conspiracy theory. Because one conspiracy sort of opens up the mind and makes you doubt and question things and get really paranoid. And the problem is that YouTube is doing this en masse, and it's created sort of 2 billion personalized Truman shows. Right? Each channel has that radicalizing direction. And if you think about it from an accountability perspective, back when we had Janet Jackson on one side of the TV screen at the Super Bowl and we had 60 million Americans on the other, we had a 5-second TV delay and a bunch of humans in the loop for a reason. But what happens when you have 2 billion Truman shows, 2 billion possible Janet Jacksons, and 2 billion people on the other end? It's a digital Frankenstein that's really hard to control.